What's up, everybody? So I'm going to give you evidence that the bottom could be in, and I'm also going to give you a little bit of speculation that it might not be in. But as you know, I've been believing that generally we're going to continue higher, and I still believe that. Doesn't matter if the range breaks to the upside or if we have to come down for XRP to hit 160, 150. Ultimately, we should get a big move, a big breakout to the upside. You know, XRP has printed a 7-year structure, and it's not just going to fail right at the all-time high. It doesn't make sense, right? The pattern needs to complete. The bigger the pattern, the more likely it is to complete. And there's no bigger pattern on the planet than XRP. And if XRP has to complete its pattern, then you have to know the other altcoins are going to be in that same camp, right? So here's the big run up that we had in XRP. I want you to look at that, right? So let's ask ourselves, how did this run up start? Well, let's go back to the very beginning. Let's look at right here. Let's look at that. So this rally was incredible, right? We went from 50 cents all the way up to $2 and what, 60 cents or something? No, I take that back, almost $3, right? So if we look at this structure, we can kind of see a little bit of a liquidation here. Now let me go to Bitcoin as well, and I'm going to drop it down to the 8 hours, okay. And you also can see this structure. I think this is in the same spot. Let me see. No, I don't think so. Yeah, they're totally different. Okay. Well, that's a good thing because gives us more different data points. So you could see how, you know, we dropped down, right? We had this 3-wave move up, we had this 3-wave move up, and then we sort of trickling down, making everyone very bearish, trickling down, right? Same thing here, trickling down, and then what happened? You pop to the upside, and these are two different points in time, right? So if we go here and we look at Theta, if I could find it really fast, where you at here? Theta, there you go. Look at Theta, guys. Same kind of thing. You had that big liquidation, got everybody freaked out, very bearish, right? And then, you know, same thing here, right? You have this sort of 3-wave move to the upside. Same thing here. You have this 3-wave move to the upside. And then people are like, oh, okay, we got a little bit of relief. And then it starts going down and down and down and down and down. And it makes you feel like, oh, man, we're going to break the low here. Same thing. What happened over here? It felt like we're going to break the low. And then ultimately we quickly reversed. Right? So I just gave you 3 examples of how things bottom, how things reverse. And they all start with a big dump, liquidation, with a wick, with a 3-wave move, and then a very grueling long drawdown, or as far as time goes. Okay? So here we are today. Now let's go back full screen. XRP, right? So that's the structure. Okay, now let's look at where we are today. I'm actually going to take that off. Now let's come back up here. So what do we see? What do we see, guys? Same looking thing. Look, we have the big dump. We have, you could say that's 3, or you can even say that's 3. And then you have this long, get everybody bearish. Oh, we're going down. It's never going to stop, you know? And then all of a sudden, bam, right? So let's see if I can bring that back real quick. I don't think I can. Okay, so let's go right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a bars pattern and we're going to overlay this just to kind of see if it matches up, if it matches up at all. Let's take a look. So here it is. They're both side by side. And it looks pretty decent, right? So I'm going to take this and look at this. I mean, come on, guys. It looks pretty cool. You can't lie. It looks pretty decent. So what does this mean? Does this mean we're going to rocket ship to the moon? No. Does this mean the bottom is in? No. What does it mean then? It just gives us a little bit of evidence that the bottom could be potentially in based off the wave structure, right? It's all about wave structure analysis. I don't have 50,000 different indicators or 20,000 different lines on the chart to tell me what the chart's going to do. I don't need that. I just need to see the candles. Show me the structure. Structure is everything. Okay, so we see, this thing matching up pretty nicely. So if this is going to continue, I really like the way, by the way, that it came down here. You kind of have this little boop, boop, right? And then you kind of make your way back up, and then you kind of swoop down, come up, tag the low. Same thing here. You swoop up, come down, tag the low, and then kind of looks like we're right around this area in here. So maybe a little bit of a pump, maybe another dump. I mean, honestly, like I've been saying for the past couple of days, we could actually just kind of range in here. Make you go up, make everybody bullish, then come right back down to the low. Teasing the low, teasing the low, teasing the low, right? Continue to do it, just grueling. And then eventually it starts to break down and then quickly comes back up. And then there's your liquidity grab, right? You can get something like that. You could get something where we just follow the fractal and it's easy. You could get something where we sort of just range a little bit and break out with no liquidity grab, no fake out, right? Or you could totally, this is the pivot right here. So we're going to know one way or another if this is going to break. Definitely within the next week or two. We should know, probably way before that. Maybe even this week. So if this is the case, then we'll know. So actually, what are the options here? Well, again, if this does play out, we're going to get back to the retracement levels. Notice what happens when we get up here. We play around a lot in the retracement levels, right, before continuing to break through it. So those retracement levels are actually right at perfect. Look at that. Exactly the 618 and the 786, this little area right there. So there's definitely confluence in that structure, right? So if we look at it again, this massive wave came from what? Came from this structure right here, which is this blue fractal that we're looking at. So that, to me, is pretty interesting. So what does this mean again? It's just another point of confluence that the low may potentially be in. So what else is a potential? Well, let's take all that off. The other potential here is that this moved up impulsively and this is moving down correctively, oscillation, right? So anytime you have like a big dump followed by a big pump and then a sort of a long drawn out correction, a lot of times it turns into something like this. Problem is now you have this flat, or you have this three-wave move, like an A, a B, and a C. Now we have to ask ourselves, is this part of a bigger ABC before going up, right? That's going to be the real challenge when we get up here, right? So the easy part is breaking out and getting up here. The hard part is figuring out if it's going to continue Like, for example, we have 3 down, we have 3 up. This could be part of a 3-way move. I don't like it because it's too big. It doesn't make sense, right? What makes more sense if it was bearish is if this was a wave 1 and this was a wave 2, right? And now we're getting a wave 3. And then 4, 5, all the way down to 150, and then break out. So then what you would have is 3 down, 3 up, and then you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Now, so if you know that's definitely in the cards, but I don't think that's the case because again, it looks too big. This wave right here is getting way too big for. I mean, this subwave is actually bigger than the immediate first wave. So the B wave of the second wave of this first wave down, if you will. I know, confusing, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not going to really entertain it much. I'm just kind of highlighting it as a possibility, but I wouldn't take it too seriously. If we're going to break down, I think we would come up here and then come here, get rejected, and then continue down. That would be a crashing structure all the way down to, this area down here. It wouldn't be so bad in percentage terms. It would be, but then ultimately we would continue higher. We would just be it would be a bigger flag, right? Got an impulse, flagging out, then break out later on. So, but you combine the fractal, plus you combined 3 down, 3 up, and then 5 down, A, B, C, right? Plus you have a 1, and then it looks like a 2. This could come up in a 3, 4, and then 5. So the count, there is a bullish count here. So anyways, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Again, the market makers do a really good job at making people second guess, is it going to do this? Is it going to do that? And that's why as a trader, as an investor, you got to have an open mind. You can't be completely convinced. Like if I'm sitting here telling you, I'm so convinced we're going to break to the upside, then it's actually a disservice because it's, anything can happen at the end of the day. So we have to remain open. And it's like, well, then if we're open-minded, then how do we know which one is it going to be? Well, again, we got to track the smaller time frames. This is a hour by hour operation. This is a day by day operation. We have to follow this thing, right? It's like if, a tiger got escaped from the zoo and now it's in the mountains and you're hired to track it down, it's all about tracking it, at the end of the day. So we have to see exactly how this plays out in here. Now, a lot of times when you're tracking too close, you get fake outs. So it's like, okay, we're playing and then we start breaking down. You're like, okay, we're for sure breaking down because the chart is breaking down, and then it quickly comes back up, So you got to give it time. How do you know if that was the case? Well, if we do break down and we come back up and we get rejected, then you can say, okay, there's more likelihood. And then you would wait again. And if we take that low out, then it's very likely we're going to break to the downside, right? So anyway, that's all I'm saying here. Keep an eye on this downward resistance line, right? And then also this area over here. So we're sort of wedging in here. We got really 3, you can count this one, but really 3 points since the correction. And you got 2 points up here, right? So boom, 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 double bottom, right? I'd like to see it get back up here. Wait, the triangle is still in effect. in a way. You got A, you got B, you got C, and then this could be D, and then you could get E later, and then continue. A, B, C, D, and E. I don't like how big it is, though. It's just kind of out of proportion with the other waves. But, you know, it's one of those things. It is what it is, you know. So let's zoom in and let's see if we can see anything up close and personal. Yeah, not really much. I mean, we're kind of, you know, it's kind of bearish. You kind of have this three-wave move here. So maybe we can get 3 down. And then maybe we can get a range going and then break out. Or we can get kind of a double bottom and then 5 up. So 3 down, or 3 up, 3 down, and then 5 up. And that, look at that. Happy New Year's. We're literally about to enter 2025. So it's going to get spicy, especially with, you know, the new administration coming in, Mr. President Trump. Remember I said during the election that they could try something to make them not get in. They could still try to do that. Like, for example, let's say that, you know, speculating here, that the Electoral College votes, you know, they have to certify the election, blah, blah, blah. And let's say the senators can't come in, or whoever can't come in and sign off because all of a sudden now they have the bird flu and I can't make it to Congress because I'm sick and I can't, you know, I can't sign. So I'm going to be out for a couple months. You know what I mean? It could be some stupid thing like that. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there are tactics they can use to delay his inauguration. I don't think they're going to work. I think they're going to fail. And if they try anything like that, it's going to be very bad for them ultimately. So, anyways, what else is going on here? Well, I think once he gets in, he's going to start, you know, he's going to hit the ground running. There's going to be a lot of things going on. And I think this could have that euphoric ending phase to the market cycle. You know, because when we zoom out here, let's go to the other XRP chart. Here we go. When we zoom out here, I mean, this thing has not fulfilled itself yet. You know, we're sort of right here. So we still need another pump. And then it's possible we can have a mid-cycle correction and then another pump. So something like that. So somehow, some way, this thing is going to get, you know, the pattern's going to get fulfilled in some manner. So if we have the XRP ETF, the Ripple IPO, the regulations, Trump getting rid of Gary Gensler, we're having other ETFs come out, you know, we have more stablecoin regulation, whatever the case may be, we could see a lot of optimism return to the market, thus getting a pretty big, you know, a pretty big end to this 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we get way up here, and then maybe we have to come down and back test, right? It could be different than the last time. So if I put a line here and a line here, what you can see potentially here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get one, you know, something like this. We get up there, and then we kind of get 3 down, we get 3 up, and then we come down in 5, right? And then we back test the all-time high. And then what you have is sort of like a 1, 2, 3, and then you get a 4, right? And then you come up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and get that final push to the upside. something like that, and then you kind of have that bigger bear market, you know what I mean? So we'll see how it all plays out, but I think regardless, if we have to come down to, you know, 150, somewhere in this level, if we have to make our way down there, then so be it, you know. But I'm just saying, a lot of times the way they make this type of structure here, it looks bearish, but it also reminds me of a lot of other structures here, like this one over here. Let's see if we can find any other ones. I think there are some in Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken. Here's one here a little bit. Notice you have a big dump, the wick, you get 3 up, then you come down, then you go sideways, right? And then you break out. So look at that. We got 3 up, we had the big dump, right? 3 up, we come down, maybe we're going sideways, and then we break out. So we'll know sooner or later. Now, let's go to Bitcoin for a minute, or even Theta. Yeah, I've already showed this one here, right? Side by side. You can kind of see that little thing there, right? So it made us believe that this was going to come crashing down, but it came down correctively, right? It gave you that, you know, boom, boom, and then boom, boom, right? It gave you that 3-wave shape. This is a little bit different. You know, it kind of looks like a little bit of a flag. If I draw a regression trend, let's see what that looks like. We'll put it there to there. There we go. It's okay. We're sort of at that middle part. Let me go back to regular and then look at it like this. We also have, we can draw a channel here. Boom. And boom there. I actually like the channels better because they're more of a fit. But anyway, you get the idea. We're basically channeling down. So statistically, when you have a downward channel, you usually break to the upside. So what the hell's going on with Bitcoin then? How can XRP break out if Bitcoin is sort of, you know, looking pretty bearish? Well, again, when you look at the alt seasons in the past, Bitcoin's already in distribution before the other coins play out, you know? And we've looked at that many times. So I like Bitcoin in a way because look what we did here, guys. This is important. So if you notice, right? Support, support, right? Support, support. And then we came up and then we came all the way down support and then we broke support. And then what happened? We instantly came back up. That, to me, looks like a fake out. That looks like a liquidity grab, right? And is there divergence? Look at the divergence, not on the 1 hour, the 2 hour, the 3, even the 4. This is on the 8-hour chart. We have divergence and we have a liquidity grab. And we have that XRP fractal. So it feels bearish, but at the same time, I'm looking at these things. That's why it pays to learn the charts because, you know, I want to show you something, by the way. Hold on one second. Watch this. And I don't mean any disrespect when I show this, but just look at this for a minute. And they may be right and I may be wrong. Totally. Look. So yesterday I went to YouTube and I typed in Bitcoin. And I just wanted to see what the sentiment was. And look at this real quick. Just look. Everybody's bearish on Bitcoin. You can see this channel here. Everybody's bearish on Bitcoin. You can see this channel here is bearish. You can see this guy, he's shorting it. You say this is a warning, this is scary. You see this channel right here saying lower. He's saying this guy right here even saying possible new lows. And the moon saying this is scary, right? All these people are bearish. It's finally over. So, I don't know, a lot of bearishness out there. We'll see. So those were the channels. There's probably many more channels that are bearish. And I'm bearish too, to a certain extent of, this could, fall lower. But what I'm saying is, it's not about they're right, I'm wrong, or who, it doesn't matter. The point is, if everybody is bearish, or if I shouldn't say everybody, but if a lot of people are bearish, what happens? It's always the opposite, right? So if the opposite usually plays out. Now some of these coins do look bearish, and maybe they're right, and so that's why I'm saying it's good to have an open mind. Nobody knows the future. We can give evidence to say, yeah, the bottom is in. We can give evidence to say, no, it's still got a little bit more downside to go. Whatever the case may be, the point is tracking the wave, as much as we can. We don't want to watch the screen all day, all night, but at least every couple hours we want to track and see where the wave, how it's developing, and kind of play it by ear to a certain extent, and then have a strategy like, hey, if it comes down here, I'm going to add this much. If we break this, I might add this much, or whatever the case may be. So some of these charts need a lot of work. Some of them, look okay. So Jasmine looks okay right now. You kind of got a little bit of a sideways going on here, right? We got that 3 up, and we're kind of drizzled down right back to support, right? If we look at, oh, okay, I already have it on. It's right here, Theta, right? You can kind of see, 3 up, 3 up. You come down, right back to support. You come down, right back to support, and look what it did. It had that head and shoulders pattern, right? Everybody goes, oh, head and shoulders, it's bearish. And it could be bearish, right? Or it could be bullish. It just depends on where is the head and shoulders printing. Is it printing at the top of the wave? See, if a head and shoulders was printing, if we were going up here and then it did something like this, then yeah, it would look bearish. But if it comes down and down and down and then it prints it, then it's, makes me skeptical, right? So anyways, just kind of highlighting that for a little bit there. So, all right, let's look at Theta. Really, Theta is doing nothing except ranging in here. We can see these waves, right? We sort of have 3 down. It looks like maybe we'll get 3 up, and then maybe 3 back down, and then a continuation. So yeah, I kind of like that. Let's see here if we use this. So first of all, that's your wave 1, and then you got you got 3 down, and then boom. This is flagging out here, and I like it. It's flagging out pretty nicely. Let's see if I can draw a little bit of a flag there. You can see it, right? So there's your flag pole. We're flagging out. Then maybe we break out a little bit, and then again it's a fake out, right? And then what happens? We come back down, get everybody bearish again, maybe even back down to the support area a little bit, right? Somewhere in there, and then kind of play around a little bit, and then break out. So you would have 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 back down. So 3, that's a flat. That would be some kind of WXY flat. 1, 2, and then yeah, so that would be 3, and then you would get hopefully 5 from that point. So that's just an idea. It's just an idea based off this range here. So we're not going to really know anything until this range breaks, right? I would have preferred the range. See how we came down and then we came up and now we're ranging? I prefer the range being at the bottom than being at the top, right? So I don't like when we go up and then we range. I prefer it we range down here. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Theta definitely has a little bit of a different look. Let's keep looking here. Litecoin looks very similar to a lot of the other ones. It actually looks pretty good. Look at that. We kind of broke out a little bit. Well, first of all, we developed a base. Remember, we had the crash. Let's get away from the scene of the crime. We developed the base, and now we kind of poke through a little bit. So do we have to come back down in 3 and then go? Can we just kind of consolidate then go? Or is that a liquidity grab and then, you know? So I think this is a good sign. Really good sign here. Man, I should have capitalized on Litecoin. That was a pretty good one. We came up. We're back testing in here. Looking pretty good so far. On the small time frame, look at that. You kind of have like this impulse and you got a 3-wave pullback. I'd like to see it kind of drizzle out here and then maybe continue, or even better, 3, 3, 5. Give me a nice pullback all the way down here and then continue. So Litecoin looking pretty decent right now. I won't lie on that. XDC. Oh, now that looks bad. That looks bearish. You know, well, so far. You kind of had this little bit of a pump and dump here. So I'm curious, are we going to break these lows? If we do and get some divergence, it would be interesting. But let's zoom out and get a better look here. Yeah, when you zoom out, it's essentially doing the same as the other ones. We're kind of just trickling down, right? So nothing special. We did have a little bit of a base here, but I think it broke out prematurely. I think it needs to just keep going sideways, you know, and develop a stronger structure, a better launch pad to break up upon. But when I look at XDC zoomed out on this wave, we have 3, and it looks to me like this is going to be either 3, and then maybe we get 3 later on and then go, so WXY. Or you have your impulse, you have a 3-way pullback, it's finished, you get 3 up, and you kind of play to the downside, and then you shoot up into the retracement levels, you flag out and continue, or you go into reaccumulation, then continue, or you get a 3-wave move, then continue, right? So we won't know until we get there. But the way it looks to me, you know, the way this is coming down, I mean, if we do break the low, then it's going to look like a zigzag, you know, 3 down, 3 up, and then we get sort of like, you know, like a 1, 2, 3, maybe a 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a 5-wave move down. So something fast, and then continue. If we do break down like that, that would be a good buying opportunity potentially. So there you go. ADA looks okay so far. You know, here's the thing, the more time elapses, the more structure we get, the more it becomes more clear, right? So like I was saying several days ago, it just doesn't look finished, it doesn't look clear. And sure enough, it's the case, because we're still sort of developing this wave. And it could get more scary, right? Maybe there's not enough pain. Maybe it has to drip down and then kind of play out, right? So there's still some unknowns. I mean, it kind of looks like a W, X, Y, X, and Z. So you have a wave 1 and then a W, X, Y, X, Z, right? And there's your wave 2. And now we kind of go sideways a little bit, play around, get into 2025, and then we're ready to go. I mean, if only it was that easy, right? If it was only that easy, we would all be doing pretty good. But yeah, I think when I look at ADA, we have an impulse, we have a three-way pullback, we have this move up, and then we're sort of drizzling down. This structure to me makes me think this is faking out to the downside. We could go a little bit lower, but I think it's a fake out, and I think we will come back in the retracement levels. And then once we get there, then I have no idea. It's going to be very challenging. It's going to feel more bullish. People are going to take their profits. The people who were scared are going to get out. The people who were bullish are going to add. So it's the battle. You got point A, point B, and then eventually you're going to get that point C. So we'll see how that plays. But let's look a little bit closer here. Yeah, this is not the stuff you want to be caught in, unless you're an investor. If you're an investor, trading this is a nightmare, because it's like it's very challenging. So the best thing to do is just hodl, and if you're able to add to your position by just simply dollar cost averaging. And again, none of this is financial advice. I'm just saying, like, if you believe in crypto long term, as we should all believe in it long term, and the de-dollarization, and it's pretty much a no-brainer. But as far as short-term volatility goes, it's really challenging to figure out, especially when it's not completely clear. But it's getting more and more and more clear as we shape up. I mean, the way this is moving here, it's looking pretty decent so far. I don't really like what's going on right here. Again, it doesn't look finished. I need to see something that, like, if this is, we're getting 3, and then we get 3, and then we're starting to dump. I need these lows to hold. I need to come up here. I need to basically go sideways. If we can get that structure, right? Because what we're doing is we're trending down. So now we need to trend sideways, and then we can trend up and get that U shape, right? The sell side, the accumulation side, then the buy side. So I'm waiting for that accumulation side. Total 3. This is the big one here, because this is everything. Yeah, it looks a little bit funky. You got 3 up, you got 3 down, but what is that? I don't know. We have to, obviously it's 3, but I want to see it do this, or even better, do this. Give me that, and I'll be happy. But we don't know for certain that's going to happen, so we have to assume it's going to keep doing this. Before maybe we have to go down here. You know what I mean? So again, it's not really, the small time frames are not helpful at the moment on some of these charts. But I go back to that XRP fractal, and it looked pretty dang good. Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter looks okay. Let's see. I don't really like this chart because it's not giving me, here we go. I mean, it's looking better, you know. We're starting to have some type of structure in here. And you know what? That structure kind of looks like Theta again, but back over here. Watch. So if we look at Theta, we go to like the 4-day. You see Theta, how it crashed down and it made this little drooping channel. Well, kind of looks like what's going on here, doesn't it? I mean, pretty nicely, actually. Wow, look at that. So you have the little drop, right? The drop, and then you kind of have that little pop, and then all the way down. Same thing here, you go sideways, you have that little pop, and then all the way down. And then you sort of round out here. You come down, you round out here. And then what do? You come down in 3 or 5. 1, 2, 3. Same thing here. 1, 2, 3. And then what do? You pop to the upside. Pop to the upside. Same thing with Theta. And then what do? You come up here, and then you come all the way down and back test. So if that's going to play out, then we should see something like this. Back test. And then something like that. It's just speculation. I take it with a grain of salt. I'm just showing you kind of what it looks like as far as a fractal goes. Let me just screenshot that there. And I can kind of highlight a couple spots. There we go. All right, so all right, I got a couple requests here. Sorry, I haven't been doing the request. I mean, it's just I gotta get my mind right. I've been kind of scattered all over the place. So the first one will be DOT. And I think I got Kava, Cake, Gold, Silver, and I have to look, maybe T-Drop and a few other ones. So DOT is literally in the same spot as everything else, but looking here, we want to look at the entire chart, and we need to go into log scale. There we go. Okay, so DOT really looks like H-bar in a way. If we look at H-bar here, you can see it. See how it has this kind of funky move here? Hits the low, hits the low. But look at the difference between DOT and H-bar. DOT didn't even break the high. H-bar crushed the high. So it's definitely a bigger leader. Now the downside to that is, well, maybe H-bar, maybe DOT has more room to go now. So H-bar is closer to the all-time high, while DOT is still way away from the all-time high. Now, it could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. It could be a good thing, meaning H-bar is stronger and it's leading. Or it could be a bad thing, meaning DOT is got more percentage potential. Well, good thing for DOT, bad thing for H-bar. So it's kind of like one of those things. Well, what do you do in that scenario? I would rather own something that's strong than something that's weak. But here's the thing. If this breaks out and then we start breaking out of here, I'd probably rotate into something like DOT, but probably not right now. So let's look at DOT here, and I'm going to try to go as fast as I can so I can get to everybody's requests. So it's really the same to some extent. The main thing I need to see is for us to break that high, right? I believe DOT is going to do very, very well. I believe DOT is going to, look, we haven't even gotten to the retracement levels yet, right? I think without a shadow of a doubt, I think we're going to hit $36 to $50 in the not too distant future. Now, once we get there, then we have to re-examine, right? So you have sort of three areas. You have the accumulation, you have the retracement, and then you have the all-time high and above. So the first step is to get to the retracement levels. Once we get there, then we can set our sights to the higher levels. But I can see DOT hitting all the way up to 100, all the way up to $200 soon. But we need to get through those retracement levels. Now, the question is, are we going to get to those retracement levels? And my answer is not financial advice, but yes, we will get to those retracement levels. Now, when is that going to happen? That's very hard to know. How is it going to happen? It's a little bit challenging to figure out, but essentially, I see this as an accumulation structure, right? You see how we're sort of oscillating up and down, right? So what I want to see here is, what I like to see is, now we have equal highs and we have equal lows, right? And now we're sort of right in the middle of that chart. So what we need to do now is we need to hold support in the middle area without having to go all the way back down here. We need to hold support here, right? And I think there's a very good chance we will. Let's look at the 4 hour here. So as far as the small time frames, it's basically the same as everything else. We have an impulse, we have a three-way pullback, we have 3 up, we have 3 down. I mean, this could be the spot here where we come back into those retracement levels. Then once we get there, then we can break out, or we have to go into reaccumulation, then break out. Or worst case scenario, A, B, C, then break out, right? So there's 3 different routes. I don't know which one it's going to be until we get here. But ultimately, I think we're moving up. I think we're going to get back up here very soon. Now, do we have to break the low first? I mean, there's always a possibility we can range and then kind of swoop down and then come up here, right, and get that divergence. But for me, the best strategy, I mean, I think DOT looks actually really good. If I had to be honest, I think this structure looks nice. We have a clear 3 waves. I want to see it go sideways. If we can go sideways in here for a while, it'll be so good for DOT. And then we can break out, right? So that's pretty much it for DOT, you know. Same thing as all the other charts, right? So that's kind of why I don't look at so many other charts, because it's like they're pretty much all the same to some regards. Now, as far as targets go, they might be a little different. And as far as targets go, we will get to targets the closer we get to those all-time highs, right? So I think H bar was another one. I already looked at it, but essentially I like H bar because we're going sideways now, right? We got 3 down, we got 3 up, and we're sort of trickling down in here. I'm not sure if it's quite 3. It looks pretty decent. Yeah, now I want to see it pump. So that would be my main idea for H bar. Pretty simple. We'll get to targets another day, but we don't need to know them right now, right? There's no need. Okay, so another one was I'm just kind of looking through the comments here. I know, guys, I got a lot of these I get a lot of these scammy comments in my videos, and they're just blowing up my videos, and it's really hard to deal with, but I'm hoping that people are aware that it's a scam. I mean, it's so obvious. They can't make it so, I mean, I don't think the scammers I think they're pretty retarded because they make it so obvious. Like, come on. It's so obvious that it's a scam. Like, literally every comment is a freaking scam, right? Except, now, yeah, I agree, man. I need to get rid of those scammers somehow. So, but I can tell almost in a split second if it's a legit comment or if it's a fake comment, right? So, do you think it's a better buy for HBAR or XLM? It's a tough one. We'll get into that maybe later on. Let's see, is there anything? So Kava and Cake, Gold, Algo, and Dot. So I did Dot. I'm going to look at Gold and Silver, Algo, Kava, and Cake, and Matic. And I'll have to go back to the previous videos, maybe T-Drop. So it's going to be a little bit of a long one, but the good thing is you can just skip ahead if you don't care about these other ones and just find the coin that you guys are looking for. So let's look at Algo. Exactly the same, literally exactly the same as all the other ones. We got 3 up, we got 3 down. We're creating a base, which is good. I like Algo, it looks great. Now, zooming out on the monthly chart, right? The whole goal is to get back to these retracement levels right in here. And I think once this correction is figured out, we will get there. By the way, I still got to I'll probably do another video as far as the monthly candles go and the yearly candles, the 6-month candle, right? But yeah, Algo looks fine. There's nothing wrong. We have a big impulse. We're flagging out, and I think we're going to break out. Let me just throw a trend-based fib extension here. So from the bottom of this wave to the top of this wave, it might even do better than XRP, HBAR, and XLM. I don't know, because it got beat up so massively. But we're looking at here at $1 easily. I think Algorand's going to hit $1, no problem, in the not too distant future. And, even up to $2.50 soon. So yeah, that's Algorand. I mean, we kind of built our base in here. We kind of have this accumulation structure. We break out. Now we got to play around a little bit, just like Wyckoff, how you got to play around a little bit, and then eventually you break out and you get to these retracement levels, and then you got to work through these to actually go into expansion. So that'll be another video another day, but very good looking chart for Algorand. Sui, yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know. It's just kind of, there's nothing here. I wouldn't buy it because, I mean, yeah, I can go to $1 million. You can all be rich as hell. But there's no, it's just, look, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, it's too many waves here. I just don't really trust it right now. I think it's going to do well. I think it's going to go up, but I just don't have an entry. I don't have a structure to lean on. All right, I want to look at Monero real quick one more time. I wouldn't sleep on Monero, guys. Not financial advice. I'm just saying, I mean, this thing looks phenomenal. It's the best looking chart I've seen. I mean, it looks fantastic. And nobody is talking about it. And if Monero is a home run, I don't know, I'll probably be one of the only channels that said, hey man, I told you so. But This is not financial. Don't buy Monero just because I think it looks good. The only reason you would buy Monero is because you believe in it. Now, I don't believe in Monero per se. It's kind of cool. I like the privacy factor, but that's not why. I'm liking it because of the chart. The chart is the most bullish looking chart I've seen since XRP. It's this, basically Monero is exactly the same as XRP, but even more bullish to some extent because it had a much more bigger wave and a much shallower drawdown and a much bigger sort of less dynamic of accumulation structure. Plus we broke out, plus we're back testing, plus we're holding. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout. So would I rather own XLM or XMR? I'd probably rather own XMR, but I mean, this is it's a bigger risk. I won't lie, it's a much bigger risk, but it could be a much bigger reward too. I just wanted to throw that out there because, man, it just looks perfect. And we'll get into it later. I don't have enough time today, but I'll have to do a whole video for it. All right, well, let's look at gold. Gold is it's slow. It's very slow and methodical. If you guys hold gold and silver, you just hold it. And if you guys have kids, I would just pass it down to your kids. I wouldn't even bother selling it, unless it goes insane, like it gives you a massive parabolic run. But yeah, you know what? Let's compare gold to Bitcoin real quick. If you look at Bitcoin on the 4-day, right here, okay. Look at this, guys. Now I see it. Look at that. You see where we're at, right? Right here, right here. Look at that. I gotta screenshot that. So there you go. You got 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Boom, 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 and then up, play around, hit the high, play around, hit the high. So man, that looks pretty decent right there for gold. I mean for Bitcoin. And now as far as gold goes, I would rather own silver than gold. If you have $1,000, I would put $0 in gold and I would put $1,000 in silver. That's just me. I think silver is way more valuable than gold to some extent. Now, gold, man, it's a tough one because look, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You're probably gonna get 5, and that's probably it. How high can gold go? I don't really study him that much, but I'm just gonna go by the fib levels here. I mean, I think gold can hit between 3,000 and 5,000. Well, probably more like $33,000 to $4,000. No higher than 47. Now, if we have a complete economic meltdown, the central bank is belly up, the Federal Reserve, all that, sort of Bix Weir talk, then yeah, I think gold can go crazy. But I'm not seeing it right now. All right, let's look at silver. I would much rather own silver. I think gold is going to continue to go up, to answer your question. I think it's going to continue to go up. Now, silver, it just looks kind of trashy right now. Silver is more manipulated by JP Morgan. It's like one of those things where it just takes so long. And I think the Trump administration will hopefully break the chains of the manipulation that we see in the markets, the precious metal markets. Because what they do is the physical supply is not a representation of the actual price, because what they do is they cannot have gold and silver pumping. The reason why is because it's a reflection of their dying system. Crypto is much more harder to control, but the reason they're able to do it is because of the derivatives market, the paper contracts. So JP Morgan can take $1 billion silver short paper contracts and dump them on the market, and that will reflect the physical price of the actual silver, but it's not a representation of it. So that's why it's so rigged in a way, and that's why I've kind of given up on gold and silver, really. Now, I'm always going to hold it. I have a bunch of gold. Not a bunch of gold. I have a little bit of gold, and I have like a couple 100 ounces of silver. Nothing much. I mean, I've been accumulating it for a while. I was a big silver bug down in 2018, 2019. That's where I bought all my silver, right there. And I haven't bought it since. The premiums are too high. So I'm just kind of waiting. I'm waiting like everybody else, man. I see a rise, a crash, a retrace. Maybe we get a little bit of reaccumulation and then a breakout. But what I've just drawn right there takes until like 2030. So the biggest thing silver needs to do is break above its retracement levels. So as soon as we break above this, let's see here. Look at that. We're right at the all-time highs too. I'm going to put that right there. So this is why I like silver. Silver is the biggest cup and handle in human history. There's no cup and handle bigger than silver on the planet. There's just not, right? I get all my gold and silver through jmbullion.com. jmbullion.com. You can also go to sdbullion.com. You know, they're pretty much the same, but you have a big cup and a big handle. This handle is still in the makings. If you hold silver, I would just hold it like your life depended on it. I think silver is going to do very well once we break these retracement levels. The reason why it takes so long is, again, because it's manipulated, and then also because we're going through the retracement levels, and the biggest level we need to get through is between $34 and $44. So if we could break 34 to 44, we're going to $70 in really a quick period of time. Look how fast, look at this, guys. Here's a very good example. Look how fast once silver got, through its retracement levels, you have the crash, going through the retracement, the retracement, the retracement. Once we broke through the retracement, look how fast we went up. We skyrocketed. Now, this is the monthly chart, keep in mind. I mean, that's, let's see. It took 8 months, and we went up from $18 all the way up to $50 in 8 months. You know what I mean? So it happened really fast. So again, once we get through these retracement levels, like here, we're going to shoot up very fast. So anyway, that's gold and silver. I wouldn't own gold. I would much rather own silver. Okay. I think someone said Kava. USD. I got to go to another chart because I don't see it. I used to trade Kava. I mean, I used to hold it, so I know it was a bigger chart. Let's go to this one here. I'll just add it to my list. Why not? Oh, man. I just don't see enough data here. I just don't know. I feel like Kava used to be older than this. I feel like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Oh, maybe, well, this is the monthly chart. Let me see. Oh, okay. I was looking at, okay, now it makes sense. Yeah, I'm bullish on Kava. We didn't break the low. That's so important. Well, did we break the low? No, we didn't. Okay, thank God. Because if we broke the low, it wouldn't be good. So we have a 5-wave move. And we have a completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a completed crashing structure. We have 5 in the 5th. We have a little bit of a base down here. We broke the base. So now it's all about, I mean, Kava has got a long journey ahead if it wants to go into expansion. So here's the problem, or here's the differences. When you have a coin that's already right here, you're going to it's so much easier to go into expansion. When you go into expansion, it's literally a straight line up. You go immediately into price discovery, and you're flying to the upside. The drawdown to that is you don't have much room from here to here. The percentages are smaller. Now, if you buy in here and then you go all the way up to here, the percentages are bigger, and then even more so when you get all the way up to here. So from here all the way up to here. Just drawing a line doesn't mean anything. Right? So the longer it takes, the more reward you're going to get. But are you one of those people who want to buy a coin here and then get immediate price action, like for example, XRP is right at the breakout point, right? You have XLM right there. You have a couple other ones that are very, very, very close. And what I would do is I would rather hold the coins that are up here. And then once they shoot up, then you take those coins and you rotate them to down here. They might be a little bit of a higher price, but then they have a bigger likelihood of, doing even better, because they still have to break through their all-time highs as well. So ultimately for Kava, I see this thing getting back up here. And then from there, I can't tell you. I don't know. We might have to go into reaccumulation. We might flag out and break out. It's a tough one. If we start accelerating like this, I don't know how much momentum we're going to have. Now, just to get back to the all-time high, you're looking at 18x just to get to the all-time high, right? So that in itself is an alt season, right? So I'm not so sure. That's why I'm saying I don't know if we're going to have some kind of mid-cycle correction. And that would be very good. So we have our alt season, right? And then we have a mid-cycle correction, and then we have another big alt season. So we'll see how that plays out. I think someone said cake. I think that's what it was. Wow, look at that. That was a big pump. Whoa. Jesus. This thing went from 22 cents all the way up to $43. That's a 20,000% move. Jeez. And we're at 251 now. So let me see here. If we get back to the all-time high, it's about a 15, 16x. Same as Kava. It's working, it's bottoming. This is why we have no alt season yet. Alt season's not even here. So we need to sort of, here's your sell side, here's your accumulation side, and now we're looking for the buy side. Sell side, accumulation side, buy side of the curve. It's all a curve, right? It's all curvatures. So, what do I think cake is going to do? I think it's going to get back up here. That's what I believe. I think it will get back up here. Now, how's it going to get up there? It's going to be a little bit of more of a challenging kind of a situation, but it kind of looks like maybe a little bit of an ascending triangle, if you will. It looks decent, The first order of business is, here's your range, right? You broke out, you're back testing. Now we need to develop a base on top of that. And then we need to get through these retracement levels, flag out, and then we need to break out. And there's your cup and there's your handle, right? And the cup and handle measured move approximately, I'm not going to do it completely on the dot, but 13, 14 bucks. There you go. Now, how high can Pancake go if it wants to break out and go into a new all-time high? I should have did it with Kava too, but look, we're looking at 65 bucks, all the way up to 100 bucks, all the way up to 168 bucks. So I would first latch onto that $65 area, and we're only at $2 or $2.50. So XRP is at $2.50. So what has a bigger likelihood of hitting 65 bucks? Pancake Swap or XRP? Interestingly, it would be Pancake Swap, because Pancake Swap already got to an all-time high of $40 freaking dollars, $44. So that would be a 2,500% move of where it is now. So maybe I'll just sell all my XRP and put it in Pancake. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, more risk, more reward. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it looks decent. We'll come back to it. Okay. So if you have any more requests, I think they're on some videos, but again, my comments have been littered with scam and spam and all that stuff. I think I seen Bohm in there. I'm just gonna have to do a rapid fire soon. Bohm looks pretty good right now. Look what we're doing. We're going sideways. That's exactly what I want to see. You have support. You have a higher low. You have a 3-wave pullback, or even a 3-wave pullback, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got a 1. You got a 2. You got a 3-wave pullback. There's your 2, right? You're holding support. Now, what do we need to do? We need to make our way to the retracement levels. Then we need to play around a little bit, and then hopefully continue breaking out. I didn't lose faith in Bohm. I still think Bohm's going to do very well. I'm just kind of disappointed that the 1, 2, 1, 2 didn't work out. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then it could have just did something like that. But it's okay because it's still a diagonal, and a diagonal is a sort of a, you know, it could be the end of a move or a beginning of the move. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's zoom in to Bohm. I don't hold Bohm, I trade it. So just be aware of that. I get in, I get out. There's no attachment. Yeah, I like it. It looks great because we're going sideways. That's what we want to see. Right? Now, the only thing I don't like is that instead of dropping in and going sideways like this, you sort of drop in and then you go up and then you go sideways up here. So you're doing it up here as opposed to down, right? So, you know, it's kind of just preference, but I do see 3 there, and then I see 3 here. So maybe I get another 3. That takes that liquidity. You take that liquidity and then you kind of continue higher. I mean, that would be nice to see. So, Jasmine, I think we looked at it. Oh man, it's still, is it dumping again? XRP, I'm just kind of looking at some charts here. Niaro looks pretty decent here. Nerio or whatever. But I think I'll wrap it here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. And remember, not financial advice. I just giving ideas, you know. We'll see. We just got to track it day by day, and then we'll get there. So anyways, that'll do it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.